let's take it away.
Not exactly the same as the original. So this game in particular is a lot faster than the PS1 game, and really fun to run, go fast in. I am Witsend. I kind of pioneered a lot of the Croc 2 Game Boy Color speedrunning stuff. My commentators.
I'm Wed. I'm playing a green reptile game tomorrow.
Accurate.
I'm Shasta. I'm not playing Green Reptile game tomorrow.
Also accurate, but you are playing a game later today.
I am, yeah, in a few hours.
Next time.
But yeah,
Maybe
I
next
know
time.
that we are behind time, so I'm just going to get us started and we'll see how things go, and I'll just commentate things as they happen. So I'll start in 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, Croc runs fast, and there's some tech with dialogue where you can mash A or B to go through dialogue, so I just rock my finger between both. But the main thing here is that diagonals go faster than just normal movement. At the very least, if you're going to go diagonal, you want to go diagonal. So we'll have a lot of diagonal jumps over gaps. You'll see some here. They're much faster than just going through the level normally. Yeah, so the idea of this game is that you have to complete all of the levels in each hub world, and after you do that, you'll unlock a boss, and you're trying to find your mom who has been kidnapped by Dante, who is the villain of the first Croc game as well. So we're doing a bunch of tasks that are also present in the PlayStation game, so we just saved a cage gobbo, and now we're going to get a sandwich back from a crow. There's a bunch of weird tech with ledges in this game where, because this is a pseudo 3D game, when you're going off of a ledge, you'll want to actually go off horizontally so that it pushes you. And at the end of this level, we're going to have a set of stairs, which may or may not drop my run. So I'm constantly running, and you double tap to run. Cool, it did not drop my run there. I do some really specific movement there to try to have it not happen, but sometimes it still happens anyway, because this game is really weird with height mapping. So there are also, in each world, there is an item collection world. So in this case, this is the sailor item collection. We have to collect 3 different items, and it's probably the longest level that we're going to do. It is also the only auto-scroller that exists in this game, which I'm glad that there is exactly one. I would prefer if there were 0, but I mean, we get to see some auto-scrollers. There's also a lot of block pushing in this game. It's the core puzzle mechanic, and because you drop down to walking, there's a bunch of possible time loss for just how quickly you start up the run afterward with your double tap presses. So that's where I personally lose time to the world record holder, Thermosor, who is really good at this game and broke maybe the final minute barrier and has an 1859 or something like that, which is wild. So there's also a bunch of puzzles. All of those puzzles are set patterns, so we just memorize what the solutions are. Stomping is also... There's some tech with stomping that I'll get to later, but the idea is that you want to start jumping as early as possible because you're going to stomp the same distance or the same amount of time from where you start jumping regardless. So here's some diagonal jumps to save us from going vertically and horizontally. We also found out that you can hit that button with a spinning jump. So the auto-scroller that was mentioned, only that first button is actually a problem. Everything else after that first button is way too lenient. We don't know why. We also want to end every level when running where possible, because you start off in the hub world in the same state as you ended. So if you're running, you continue running. If you're walking, you are walking. So now we've got our boss, and it's also the first instance of barrels. So barrels spawn on the opposite side of the screen as you are when you lose it. That was not good. Okay, we're just going to start that over. So yeah, I'm attacking at a particular spot so that the barrel spawns where I expect it to be. And you can technically get a free heart pot so that we would have 4 health, and that can be slightly nicer for newer runners. But we don't do that. Also, welcome to Ice. Ice is fast. It is twice as fast as running, which is twice as fast as walking, and you go really fast. This also makes this world the scariest. There's also some interesting tech with being able to push that slightly off the edge to avoid going off the edge here. But we're going to do a bunch of scary looking jumps in the next room. This level also has a task strat that saves about 20 seconds. And so far I think I'm the only person to do it RTA without game overing there and back. The problem, of course, is that doing it in a run is a problem. So we're not doing that. So running is double tapping, but if you want to drop down to a jump, a neutral jump makes you do a standing jump. So in that case, I actually messed up once and did a running jump when I meant to do a standing jump. But there's a lot of really interesting tech with how you do movement in this game. So there also are some death abuses. There would have been one in that room, but since I'm down a life, I just want to be a bit safer here. That was not far enough forward. Let's just reset that room. So yeah, there are explosive barrels, which you need to break these rocks. But you also walk when you're carrying them, so I tried to throw them as early as possible. In that case, I threw it just slightly too early. This next world has some of the scariest things in it, but we have cut some of them out. So there used to be a ice section that we ran on in that first room until I realized that it was only frames slower to do that jump that was there. And this is why I have audio for the game, so that I can hear if I miss one of those switches. You also heard a sound effect of me gaining a life. And those jumps there on the ice are the scariest sets of jumps in this game. Because without that gem in the middle to kind of stop you, timing it is really precise. Also good diagonal input. But yeah, there's a whole lot of diagonal jumps over gaps that we do just to save time here and there. There is a glitch hunter who has been trying to break this game, and so far has found a lot of really cool things that are not useful, but really cool. But we've got another set of stairs that hopefully will not screw me over. And we'll go into the level that I do scarier than anyone else. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. Well, I'm not going to try that again on 0 lives. But the idea is that you can skip that segment of the block moving, and similarly you can do this run slightly faster by running on ice the entire time, but obviously on 0 lives I'd prefer not to. Gaming over isn't the end of the world in any percent, but instead of being sent back to the beginning of the room that you're in, you get sent back to the hub world. There are also these things called paths of delusion. Cool, so about those game overs, this is why I have an estimate. Paths of delusion are the same every time, and assuming that I don't slip and fall on things because... cool. That just didn't double tap, and we're fine. Trees are also really awkward in this game. Their hitboxes are way more awkward than they should be, which is also why I was taking this particular path of delusion. Not particularly nice. I tried to skirt this tree in the middle as best as I can, and I apparently didn't go quite far enough right. So now we get to the actual item collection part of this, where there are 3 items in this section. We need to push some blocks. And I actually skipped the first item back there because we're coming back, and hopefully I'll get Swag Slide, but if not, oh well. Yep, there we go. So you can slide a bit with the item collection animation and save yourself a few frames there. But now we've got the second item, and we'll shortly get the third item, and then be off to the boss, which is also something where I've made scarier strats than there used to be, and we'll see how well that goes, because it has not been going well in practice. Okay. That's all the levels of World 2, and now the actual hardest boss of the game is, of course, not the final boss, but the second boss, because it is the only boss that has pits that you just instantly fall into and die.
What's King Netum doing here in the ice world?
Basically. Please? Okay, I'm just gonna... Okay. As I said, this has not been going nice in practice. I do scarier strats than other people do. They are fast strats. And if they go well... okay. If they go well, it is really cool to pull off. So I'm going to just keep trying it.
Yeah, I saw you in practice. There's a lot of different things that can go wrong for very different ways.
There we go.
Nice.
Not expecting to get hit and then needing to reinitiate a run.
Yeah.
This looked like an issue.
That last hit is one that I actually expect and do so that I can kind of have the iframes through the last jumps. But now we are on Water Handle. This has some fun glitches, including a reproducible crash, but I'm obviously not going to crash. We also take damage there because it is slightly faster than dodging the flames. We also are setting up a death abuse, which don't worry about the fact that I have 0 lives. It's not scary, or 1 life, but will then be on 0. It's not scary at all.
No, absolutely not.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, everything's fine.
Nothing to worry about.
Cool. Good diagonal input.
What is 0 but a number less than 1?
True.
True. Okay. So we'll take that death. Save like a second. Let's go. Cool. That, I was worried that my hand RNG was not gonna work nicely with that double tap input, but we're good. So yeah, we restored water, and now they can take a shower, because apparently Croc is extremely rude in this game. And surely this next level will also go perfectly fine. This is our item collection level, so it's also the really long level. And it starts off with some block pushing. which this is probably the longest block pushing that there is in any present, at least. There's some pretty annoying block pushing puzzles once you get into 100%, but luckily we're not doing that because that is also not a marathon safe run at all. So yeah, somehow that wooden block blocks lava. That's how lava flows work. But we're collecting these 3 gears to do something. I forget exactly what it is. You can also slightly optimize movement there by just jumping up. Okay, that's the scary jumps, but they're over, so the rest of this level should be fine. And the levers that I'm spinning to trigger things are actually strangely precise for where you have to be. I don't know why they made them that way, but they sure are extremely precise, and I will sometimes just miss them. Any percent and 100% also have different orders of levels, so I sometimes forget exactly which order the Path of Delusions are. But luckily one of them is square in this world and the other is circle, and I use that to remember. So we have now gone through that Path of Delusion, and we've got some stomping puzzles, which is one kind of the arrows point you which direction you should go. And we've got our third thing, and now we get to the scary level, which I'm going to do some frame perfect jumps on. So wish me luck, because more things that have not been going well in practice.
You got this, though.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Easy.
So that's the frame perfect jump, and now comes the jumps that I'm actually bad at that are not frame perfect. Cool, so we get to do the frame perfect jump again, which is fine. See, it's easy every time. It's
No
frame
worries.
perfect. And this one is just not being nice to me. That's like 7 frames. It's like 7 frames and then 4 frames. It's just, somehow it throws me off so much more than the 1 frame one. Cool, so now we get the last Path of Delusion. And this one is circular, so of course we go around in a big circle to end up right back where we started. And we're going to have some weird movement at the end of this level where instead of just running straight up, I'm going to go slightly to the side, because if I don't go horizontally at all, when I jump up to that ledge, I just drop down to a walk. That's how this game works. The ledges are really weird. So now we've got the only boss that you actually like attack and have hit points. So I can save a cycle if I'm really good at reacting to things. You can get 3 or 4 hits each phase here. I was worried that I was slightly off to the side there. And this is also random every time. I'm 1 hit off. Good. Well, didn't save a cycle, but did save 2 hits. So now we're on to the last world. So this is the world with all of the shortcuts. And in fact, in the first world, we don't want to see the shortcut. If we fall into the shortcut, we lose like a minute. So yeah, it hasn't happened to me in years, and then it happened to me yesterday during practice, and we'll just see how things go. This is kind of the one level that we actually have a skip in, so a not intended skip. This world has a whole lot of developer made like secret paths and breakable walls, but there's a puzzle that we skipped that is supposed to open a thing later in this level, but we just skipped past it. Also, welcome to the hardest math puzzle. This is a kid's game, but it's also a lot of stomping, and if I fall into that hole to the right, then we're not going to have a good time. But I didn't, so we're good. So this is where the skip is. There was the skip, and here's just some really cool movement with a whole bunch of diagonals that looks a lot scarier than it actually is. And we're already in the last room. We line up over here so that we can, I did not line up nicely, so that we can skip picking up that gem, just so that we skip that fanfare. And with that, we are going to finish this level. Drop down to a walk because that's another weird ledge. And this next level, I'm just going to fall into a pit and be warped basically to the end. So, yeah, casually, this world is really confusing, but once you figure out what you're supposed to do, the speedrun is extremely fast. Case in point, this has a lot of dead ends that continue for a while past the point of no return, so trying to figure out, you get really confused. Cool, I hit that. There we go with those hitboxes being weird, but we've got one level left and then the boss. So we'll see how this goes. And this guy talks forever. I don't know why, but he just does. So this guy was constantly telling you, like, we don't trust you and you should go away and leave. And now he's like, oh, you've helped my friend, so sure, you can help me too. Okay, so this breakable wall was not known to the person who made the task when he was making the task. He found it like right before he finished the task and didn't want to redo things. So he found a different breakable wall in this level and figured that that must be the only breakable wall, and the developer intended shortcut. These bees are also weird. We're just going to get to a spawn point and kill them at their spawn because you're just supposed to kill a certain number of them. With that, we are on to the final boss, which is Dante. So there are two phases, so I'm glad that I have more than one life, just in case. And we'll see if I can do fast strats, otherwise I've got safe strats. Okay, well that's off, so I'm just going to do safe strats. There's a point that I line up on the floor here, and then I wait for the bees to be in a certain cycle. That missed apparently. Good. This is why I have lives. And again, standing up in that specific spot is also to make sure that the barrel ends up spawning where I think it does. Okay, there we go. So the second phase of the boss actually has some interesting strats that were found after the last time that I ran this game, which was a while ago. So we already know how to kind of dodge this one, but these ones, if you stand in a particular spot, they just phase right through you. So this is just 5 hits, assuming I can actually hit. There we go, and time will be on the fade to the white. So, time. I guess I can't actually see the time, but oh, cool. That is about what I expected with my estimate, so. Yeah, it's a fun game. I would certainly appreciate more runners. We were at Obscure Speedrunning Club and got a lot of interest there, but it's been a while since we've had some fresh faces. Again, I'm Witsend. I stream at least once a year on Twitch. And these are my commentators. You'll see them later in this marathon. Thanks for having me.